Coming from the New York Post, Vance family moved to undisclosed location after hundreds of pro-Ukraine protesters swarmed ski resort ahead of vacation. I thought he was still in his probationary period. And he hasn't done all the things that y'all claimed were under the purview of the vice presidency during the race to POTUS Mountain. So why is he vacationing? It's not very efficient, is it? And whose money is paying for this? Vice President J.D. Vance was forced to move his family to an undisclosed location after hundreds of pro-Ukraine protesters swarmed the Vermont ski resort where they were vacationing Saturday, just days after his public dust-up with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House. But I thought you was big and bad. You was ready to tumble and tussle. Vance and his family were greeted by hundreds of outraged protesters lining the snow-covered streets while visiting Sugarbush Resort in Waitsfield, but were forced to cut their 4-day trip short after seeing the intensity of the protest. Oh, that's right. You think the echo chamber that you're in, and because your followers are Karens and Richards that always make a bunch of noise, that the entirety of the nation were on your side. Yeah. No. Protesters displayed signs that labeled Vance a national disgrace, accusing him of being a traitor, and encouraged his family to go ski in Russia. I mean, до свидания, fucker. Have you no shame? Support Ukraine, one sign read. Counter-protesters also had their voices heard. Pickup trucks with Make America Great Again flags were spotted driving down Main Street in Waitsfield. Another group of counter-protesters got into a shouting match with anti-Vance folks outside the Sugarbush Resort. But it doesn't seem like it was enough of y'all. Oh, that's right, because it's never been enough of y'all. Maybe those that say they stand on the right side of history should actually stand up and stand there. Vance and his family scrapped their plans of staying at a nearby 4-star inn, instead fleeing to an undisclosed location following the intense protest outside the resort. At the protest got so heated that a handful of demonstrators even camped out by the ski lift near where they thought the Vances were skiing. Absolutely. You don't give a damn about the safety, the comfort, the well-being, the self-care of anybody else's family. Hell, from how you described your wedding day, you don't care about your own family. And how you described your own children, Vance. But following this, are you just going to change what the JD stands for again and rebrand yourself again? And you want us to honor your name changes and respect you by calling you that again? These protests were planned earlier in the week, but took on new intensity following the Oval Office dispute in which the Ukrainian leader got into an intense public argument with both Vance and President Trump while visiting to finalize their minerals rights deal. The deal was scrapped, and Zelensky reportedly was ushered out of the White House. He wasn't ushered, he left. He stood on business. He said, fuck this shit. Last week, Vermont Republican Governor Phil Scott urged protesters to take into consideration that Vance would be traveling to the state. Was he telling people to take that in consideration, or was he helping them out? Because lifelong card-carrying Republicans don't like either one of them. Vance wasn't a popular guy on Capitol Hill. Vance wasn't a popular guy in Ohio. Vance has never been a popular guy, nor a well-liked guy. Which explains why couch cushions outside of Usha are the only things he could convince to... Let's continue. I hope Vermonters remember The vice president is here on a family trip with his young children, and while we may not always agree, we should be respectful, Scott said in a statement Thursday. Join me in welcoming them to Vermont and hoping they have an opportunity to experience what makes our state and Vermonters so special. And that's exactly what the people did. They heard the call. They answered the call. They said, I understood the assignment. Did the assigner of the assignment understand the assignment? Vermonters were initially set to protest the Trump administration's cuts to the federal government. Like, either way you slice it, there was going to be a protest because the fuckery has been afoot. Some of us are scared about losing Social Security or Medicaid or parks or having measles epidemics or climate change, protest organizer Jenny Sassaman of the Indivisible Calais Group told outlet VT Digger. The Rainbow Coalition of activists even included members of the LGBTQ plus community. Of course. As a trans person and a person of color, I'm extremely concerned about the new policies about trans people. I'm concerned about the ICE raids. I have friends who are trans. I have family who are immigrants who have been reaching out to me and saying, we're scared. Organizer Lam told VT Digger. And in yesterday's Oval Office meeting with Zelensky, Vance read him the riot act in front of international media. And let's not forget, Russian media was in the room. Going so far as to call out the wartime chief for not saying thank you for the aid given to his country by the United States. So where is the thank you for your sycophants spending all of their 2 cents on y'all's fuck shit merch and bullshit?